Alright, ayun. So what's up and good day again to everyone who'll be watching this video. So this is Berio of BerioTrades.com and welcome back again to another trade walkthrough video for today. So today is June 10, 2025 around 7:49 PM Philippine time. So medyo maulan and ayun, nagkaroon tayo ng konting short time block to do this trade walkthrough video. So in this AVA trade, in this trade walkthrough video, I'll be discussing my AVA trade, which is a pre-earning swing play. So almost 4 weeks ko tong hinawakan and it gave me a roughly $4,800 $4,800 gain on the trade and only risking $400 upon entry on the trade. So giving me a 12.17 R multiple or RPNL. So for every dollar I risk, it gave me back halos $12, $12.17. So yun naman yung di ba? Holy grail ng trading. It's all about reward risk, it's all about probabilities. So doesn't matter na magkaroon ka ng lose streak, pero as long as your wins outsize your losers, doon talaga nakukuha yung long-term profitability, which is high reward risk or at least a decent reward risk relative to a dedicated win rate. So ito yung trade logs natin. The trade started noong 04/29, April 29. Way back nung hindi pa nagkakaroon ng market recovery actually. So hindi pa namin alam, or actually hindi ko pa alam ng mga time na yun if mag-recover yung market. Pero merong mga signs na rin na nagpapakita na ng strength yung market during this period. And at the same time, parang napapagod na rin yung market toward the Trump tariff or trade war issues. So AVA, kaya ako siya nagustuhan. It's one of the stocks na nagpakita ng relative strength. So ano ba ibig sabihin ng relative strength? So relative strength, ibig sabihin nun, if the market is going down, and then one stock or yung stock na tinitingnan mo, hindi naman nalalaglag, it's showing relative strength. Pwede rin, the market is just going sideways, and then the stock you're looking at is rallying. It's also a type of positive relative strength. So itong AVA, despite no April period, April week 1 to week 3, week 4, despite the market crashing, going back to the SPY ng April, yan the SPY went down halos 10%, 14% just a month from peak to trough or month to month. Pero yung AVA, nag-hold up siya in this trading range. So April, nag-hover lang siya near $6 and then $7 to $8. So basically, nagpakita siya ng relative strength. Hindi siya nag-crash or hindi siya nalaglag. Hindi siya nakisabay doon sa laglag ng market. So isa yun sa mga main reasons bakit ko siya tinrade. So ayun, in this trade log, the trade ended nung 06/02 nung June 2. So halos 4 weeks ko nga din hinawakan. So to start, again, ano nga ba yung AVA para lang malaman natin kung ano ba tong company na to. So AVA Tech Inc. developed sensing paradigm technology or products for autonomous vehicles and robotics. So the firm offers drones, robotics, pati mga vehicle technology, mga LiDAR, radar, mga ganun, and virtual and augmented reality products. So the company is under a market, di ba? Under a growing market. So yun nga, flying cars, eVTOL, full self-driving vehicles, nagpo-provide siya ng mga technology, pati components, pati mga electric vehicles, full self-driving electric vehicles, pati drone technology. So malaking market 'yan. Actually, I think nandun pa lang tayo sa infancy stages ng technology nito, which is in drone tech. Dami application, di ba? Tapos the stock is only a $1 billion company. It's a small cap. So malaki yung upside potential niya in terms of market cap, and then yung yung technology niya ultimately, 'di ba? So nagpo-provide siya ng solutions and technology to drones. So actually wala tayong pakialam diyan. Ang pinaka-focus natin is yung technicals. Ano ba yung ginagawa ng price? Ano ba yung message ng market to us nung nakita natin yung trade na to? So again, ayun nga, small cap company na growing market team. And then it's showing a tight range near the highs of the stage 1 accumulation structure after a strong earnings driven rally ng Q1 2025. So napusuan ko tong AVA again dahil may relative strength siya kahit na nalalaglag yung market. Tapos nagta-tighten up siya near this stage 1 accumulation structure. So, di ba, Y of cycles, classic market cycles, all market cycles undergo or goes into 4 stages, di ba? Accumulation, stage 1, stage 2, markup, stage 3, distribution, then stage 4, markdown. So, if we're gonna look at AVA, it's a classic stage 4 to stage 1 and then transitioning to stage 2. So, nung nakita ko yung setup, it's actually showing signs na you're under late stage accumulation. Kasi you're above all key moving averages, you're above the 100-day, or rising 100-day, you're above the rising 50-day, 20-day, and then a flattening 10-day MA. So, binili ko tong stock na to kasi nag-hold up yung yung price at $6. So, it's a semi-round number area. And at the same time, meron kang undercut and reclaim of the 20-day MA, which is a short-term key moving average, diba? So, price went below the 20-day and then reclaims the 20-day, hovers above the 20-day and then reclaims the 10-day MA. So, nung April 29, on the third day of the bullish candle close above the 10 and 20-day, doon ako nag-decide na pwede ako mag-anticipate, mag-enter at this level. So, medyo reasonable area siya to enter at this point. So, at the same time, nagpakita siya ng KCBB setup. KCBB Eclipse setup. So, ano ba yung KCBB Eclipse setup? Ultimately, it's a signal or a technical signal in which it's a sign na mature na yung volatility contraction mo. So, di ba nga, Mark Minervini, ang favorite pattern sa mga volatility contraction patterns, yung mga nagta-tighten up and then nagta-transition to a high volatility state. So, in my case, ang pinaka ginagamit ko and tinuturo ko sa community ko is yung KCBB Eclipse setup. So, ano ba yun? It's a mix of a Bollinger Band and the Keltner Channel. And yung Keltner Channel mo, it's more of a validation tool if mature na ba yung Bollinger Band squeeze mo. So, hindi ko na masyadong i-expound yung concept. But ang pinaka main idea is it's a mature volatility contraction. So, it's a signal na pwede ka mag-anticipate and potentially mag-breakout na siya in a few days after the signal. So, dito ako nag-enter noong April 29 at 7:27. Yan, 7:27. Ito yung entry point ko, 7:27. And then, the next tranche was done nung 7:87. Nung nagbe-breakout na siya nung May 5. Ito, May 5. So, before this momentum candle, doon tayo nag-enter. May 5, 7:87. So, yun yung initial entry point ko, 7:27, with a $400 risk at a logical technical stop loss area. So, ang technical stop ko for AVA at 7:27 is roughly below the 20-day MA. So, ang max loss ko, if makakat ako, $400 lang. Tapos, yung nakita ko nag-gain na siya ng momentum, I scaled in at the 787 level, 787 area with the same quantity of shares. So, halos 300 shares din yung dinagdag ko with this portfolio. So, itong scale in na to at 787 was considered as a risk-free scale in. So, considered siya as a risk-free scale in. Basically, despite adding on a position, ang worst case scenario is the same, di ba? A $400 loss or a break-even, di ba? A break-even. So, kaya siya considered as a risk-free scale in. So, what happened afterward, AVA proceeded to break out of the trading range. Breakout siya nung May 6, giving us a momentum candle and printing out a 25% momentum bar in a single day. So, breakout siya sa trading range. Trading range na to, ng stage 1 accumulation. And yung trading range na itong post-earnings flag or pre-earnings flag pattern. So, 1 to 2 weeks before earnings, dito tayo nag-possession. So, ang pinaka-plan ko talaga is pwedeng benta ako $10, which is the next round number area, $10, if magpakita siya ng signs of weakness at $10, and then the 1618 measured move with respect to the stage 1 accumulation. So, akala ko nga hindi ma-reach tong 1618 level before earnings. Akala ko mag-consolidate at 1150 at $10, pero what happened with AVA, nag-create siya ng out rally. Luckily, nag-create siya ng lockout rally. So, 1 to 2 days before earnings, I was thinking na benta ko ba to or hindi. Pero, ayun nga, given na meron tayong right process behind the pre-earnings swing play, inassess ko muna using my calculator if it's recommended ba to hold into earnings or not. So I use this earnings expected move calculator. So meron tayo niyan. Ayan, earnings expected move. So basically kukunin mo lang yung options data, the nearest options data, and then lalagay mo lang yung call option bid, call option ask, blah blah blah. Basically kino-compute niya yung expected move. Kino-compute niya yung expected move at earnings day. So in this calculation, ang expected move is 1464. Ang downside expected move is 1142. My average price was at 757. Ang layo, di ba? Ang layo. So, giving me a good enough profit buffer. And then, ang projected PNL ko, if ever man na mag-gap up siya at 1464, ang projected PNL ko at that moment, 5K US. And then, the projected lower bound PNL is at 2,700. So, ang magiging projected PNL burn ko at the current price, at my current PNL during this period, was $1,145 if mag-gap down man or ma-reach yung lower bound PNL, lower bound area. So the expected move on earnings day is $7. Ayun nga, expected is at 1464, 1142. So my plan was if it breaks below 1142, I'll be selling 2/3 of the position. So yun na yung plano ko eh. Nawakan ko siya before earnings, nagpakita siya ng setup, nawakan ko all throughout the rally. Tapos 1 to 2 days before earnings, tinignan ko if okay, paano ba? Hawakan ko ba to or hindi? So, before I decided hawakan ko siya, syempre pinlano ko muna yung worst case scenario though, which is yung pag-gap down or possible movement to the downside at 1142. So, I decided na ibenta yung 2/3 and the balance will be set or the balance will be put into a stop loss area at $10. So, yung decision ko if ever man mag-gap down at 1142, benta ko 2/3, then yung balance i-move ko yung stops ko at $10. So, pasensya na, medyo ingay yung aso ko, no? Tapos nawala ako sa train of thought. So, if it gaps up, I'll be holding the stock and assess further based on the day 1 earnings move. So, syempre, yun nga, as we hold on na trade, lalo na yung mga swing trade, day by day, nag-iba yung timpla ng market eh. Hindi mo masasabi. So, kailangan prepared ka for all scenarios. So, ganun man palagi. Hindi natin masasabi kung paano gagalaw yung trade. Importante, prepared tayo on all scenarios. So, ang nangyari on earnings day, during the after hours, since after the bell yung earnings release, hindi siya nagpakita na strong earnings reaction. Parang nag-hover lang siya, nag-consolidate lang siya. So, parang inisip ko, paano ba to? Bakit hindi siya nag-move to the downside or upside? So, inantay ko muna yung opening bar ni Ava. So, if mag-move to the upside, prepared ako to hold it. If mag-move to the downside, I'll be prepared to sell it. So, ganun ang nangyari with Ava at the first bar, create siya ng momentum move. So, expected move lang natin is $14, di ba? $14.64. End of day, ang naging close nung Ava on day 1 earnings was $17.10. So, halos ang laki nung difference between the expected move and the actual move. So, halos 19% off siya on the day and also printing out the highest volume ever candle. So, ito yung highest volume ever na candle ever since inception. So, day 1 earnings was okay. Hinawakan ko siya. Day 2, nag-create siya ng follow-through. Day 3, doon siya nagpakita ng weakness. So, to add lang din pala, on day 1, I traded the setup. So, it's a day 1 setup. So, it's a risk-free scalp na ginawa ko. Although, hindi ko siya nagawa in this portfolio. So, it's an undercut and reclaim of the earnings VWAP. So, anchored VWAP siya on earnings day, on the earnings candle. So, dito siya naka-anchor. Ang pinaka naging entry point natin was the undercut and reclaim of this support level or this key level. So, after the break below and then the reclaim, doon ako nag-enter with the stops near this swing low area. So, ang ginawa ko, I sold half at targets at 18.16 or 18.10 and then selling all nung nag-break below the AVWAP. So, it's a scalp setup. It's a short-term day trading setup. So, giving me a 1.5 to 2 hour multiple gain on the simple scalp on the day. So, ganun lang, very simple. Although hindi ko siya na-trade dito sa portfolio na to. Anyway, after day 2, on the third day after earnings, it showed clear resistance at the $18 mark. So makikita natin tong big red candle na to at $18. So nag-resist siya at 18.35 and then tumulo papuntang 15.73. So halos 10% move yan in a day. Pero thankfully, ang baba ng average price ko. So halos hindi ko ramdam yung move. So ang nangyari, since may malaking profit buffer ako, I decided not to sell partials. Kahit na bearish candle siya, no? Since ang baba na average price ko. Which in hindsight, dapat pala nagbenta ako kahit konti. At kahit 1/3, 1/2 ng position. Pero nandun na tayo, I held into the position and I decided to give it some breathing room towards the 10-day MA. So after the May 19 candle, nung day 3 bearish engulfing candle. Day 2, nagkaroon ng follow through. Semi-bullish indecision and then on day 3. And then on day 3, nag-break below the 10-day MA, itong black line. So at this point, halos naibenta ko yung bulk ng position at the break below of the 10-day MA nung June 2. So halos, May 21. Sorry, June 2, yun yung medyo blunder move yung nangyari nung June 2. So May 21, sold bulk, netting me halos $3,000 gain to nung May 21. So napabenta ako prematurely. Kasi at the same time nung May 21, I believe ito yung bond market dump. Parang nagkaroon ng bond market auction, 20-year bond market auction. Tapos medyo concerning talaga siya para sa akin. Kaya nagbenta ako ng konti. Actually, nagbenta ko yung bulk dahil dun sa development na yun sa macro. So, halos in hindsight, parang medyo mali nga yung move na yun, pero nandun na tayo. So, I sold the bulk nung May 21. So, kinik ko yung balance halos ilang shares din yun. Halos ilang shares din na ito. Balikan natin 96 shares. Halos yung kinik ko. Mga 1/4, 1/5 ng overall position. So, I kept 1/5 of the original position. And my initial plan was, yung balance na yun, it will be used as an anchor for the next setup. So, usually kasi, after an earnings gap up, after a strong earnings move, nagkakaroon niya ng base Nagko-flag ulit yan. Tulad ng ginawa na ni Ava ngayon. After a strong earnings reaction, usually consolidate yan. And it's another setup na pwede ka mag-participate in. Ang nangyari lang nung June 2, I mistakenly sold Ava due to an executional error. Kala ko ito yung position na dapat kong ibenta, pero ayun, and ang naging action ko was mistakenly ibenta yung Ava na position. So, nakaka-frustrate yun na nagkaroon ka ng executional error kahit na ang tagal mo sa market. Although nangyayari talaga yun. Lalo na if i-execute mo siya during midnight or pag madaling araw na. So anyway, nangyari na siya. Ang nangyari naman, after selling ng June 2, I decided on the next day to rebuy the stock. So na-rebuy ko naman siya in June 3. So I'm in the trade again. So ito yung Ava position, halos $928 gain na siya. Tapos yung initial risk lang actually was roughly $350, $400. So, nasa 2-hour multiple gain na rin siya. Itong Ava trade. So, it's a post-earnings flag. So, sa earnings swing system kasi namin, may 3 main stages Stage 1, pre-earnings. Stage 2, on-earnings. And then, stage 3, post-earnings. So, yung initial Ava trade, yun yung pre-earnings. And then, yung scalp was the on-earnings. And then, right now, yung post-earnings. So, we take advantage of the whole earnings swing cycle. It's a family of momentum swing trading setups na kinakapitalize in 3 major stages of a stock with earnings-driven momentum. So, yun yung ginagawa natin. Mostly, mga earnings-driven rallies or earnings-driven swing setup. So, ayun. Ang nangyari with Ava right now is nawakan ko pa rin siya. Thankfully, na-reset ko yung psychology ko. The trade was great in terms of RPNL. 12-hour unit siya na game. Pero ayun, ang daming things na kailangan i-improve. Most importantly, in the reactionary selling part after earnings, and the part where I sold prematurely. Yung anchor position, yung balance position, or yung runner position was sold prematurely due to an executional error. So highlight of the trade is that I managed to hold the position throughout the lockout rally, and hindi ako na-tempt to sell partials. Usually kasi, ang ginagawa ko, nung March, April, even Feb, I'm a sell on strength kind of guy. Konting rally lang, benta na kaagad. Hindi ko na binibigyan ng konting consideration yung stock na magpakita ng true momentum move niya nung lockout rally na tipong ganito. So, nahawakan ko siya. Hindi rin ako na-attempt to sell partials prematurely. Kasi, nung mga time na yan, I was looking at the market day in out. Tinitingnan ko yung overall market breadth, overall market situation, gaano ba kadaming advances, ano ba yung ginagawa ng tech sector, is it showing momentum, is it showing good market breadth, mga ganyan. So, at the same time, syempre, looking at sentiment, yan yung parang naghahabol yung mga tao na to buy back their holdings. Kasi yun nga, na benta nila halos lahat ng April sell-off. So, ayun, it's more of a situational awareness kind of diskarte. At the same time, given na halos lahat ng positions ko during this period was, kaya nahawakan ko din siya. Okay, to end this video, to distill everything, or to consolidate everything, ang main setup is a pre-earnings flag at the key resistance level. Yan, ito yung main setup. Yung entry tactic ko, yung paano ko nag-enter, is a KCBB Eclipse entry. It's a type of anticipatory entry and a breakout entry for scale in. So, dalawang entry point siya. It's a anticipatory entry. Yan yung una. On the breakout, yan yung next. So, risk-free scale in siya. For the exit tactic, partial exits at measured targets and snap off the 10-day MA. So, nung na-reach na yung 1618 level, yung 1618 level at $14 range, I was thinking na to sell partials. Pero nangyari, I held into earnings. On day 3, doon nagkaroon ng sell-off. Pero halos ganun din eh. I ended up selling din at the 10-day MA snap. So, ayun. Medyo need na refinement yung exit tactics or exit execution. Tapos, yung risk and trade management, all throughout the trade, the max risk was $400. So, super small VAR or super small value at risk lang siya. And then, yung trade management approach natin, we only add if na-cancel na yung risk ng initial position. So, to score my entry, so 4.5 out of 5, exit, 2.5 out of 5. To take note of the market phase at entry point, it's a stage 1 to stage 2 transition. Market phase at exit, basically, it's under mid-stage markup kasi na-reach na yung 1618 measured target. So, ayun, that's a market phase at the exit. To discuss my executional highlights, entry and scale-in approach, yan yung isa sa mga executional highlights. Next is yung decision-making process, holding into earnings. Na-consider ko yung market environment, yung earnings expected move, yung market team, yung possession status, pati yung overall possession status. So, tiniconsider ko yung lahat na yun. So, tinignan ko yung market environment. If okay yung market environment, +1. Earnings expected move, if malaki yung profit buffer, okay, +1. Market team, strong market team, okay, check. Possession status, may enough profit buffer, okay, check. Overall portfolio status, doing good yung portfolio ko during this period. So, giving me enough allowance to hold into the trade. So, executional lowlights, not selling partials into first bearish candle close after earnings. So, usually kasi sa mga sell rules ko, after the day 1 earnings, pag nagpakita na ng bearish candle, usually 1 to 2 days yan or 3 days after earnings, first bearish candle, dapat benta na eh. Benta ng onte kahit pa paano, mga 1/3 ng position, 1/2 ng position. So, isa yun sa mga lowlights ng overall trade. Not selling partials into first bearish candle close after earnings. And then, another lowlight, reactively selling the bulk into the 10-day MA trail stop. So, another factor nun, yung macro issue, yung bond auction issue. So, naka-apekto sa decision-making process ko. Pero syempre, hindsight is 2020. Hindsight na sayang, binenta ko pala. Pero paano kung naibenta ko and then nalaglag, 'di ba? Tulad nung Tesla trade ko na recently ginawan ko din ng trade walkthrough. So nagbenta ako on the snap of the 10-day MA, and then what happened after the snap below the 10-day MA, karon siya ng 17% down move. So dito ko naibenta yung Tesla nung June 2. So hindi siya nag-hold up above the 10-day MA. So selling all nung June 2. Same with may sell nung with Ava. Tapos, after a few days, nung nagkaroon ng 17% down move. So, with Ava naman, after me selling, doon naman nag-rally or nagpakita ng strength ulit. So, ganun talaga. Sometimes, it works. Sometimes, hindi. It's more of, I only operate on a risk first approach. So, I prioritize managing my risk and yung profits ko, ika nga. And lastly, yung executional lowlights. Nagkaroon ng executional error on the runner position. Naibenta ko instead of selling the other stock ang naibenta ko yung iba. Which is kinda ugly. So, sayang. Dapat di ka na nako-commit yung mga error na yun. Pero ganun talaga, tao lang tayo. We commit some mistakes. So, something to take note of na lang din. Okay, so that ends my trade walkthrough. So, if you have any questions on this trade walkthrough, chat nyo lang ako or put it in the comment section below. Okay, so ingat kayo. God bless and goodbye.